Because they didn't show offensive lights. At least I didn't see it if they did. I'm very, very, very surprised they did not show offensive lights. Considering how, like, if you don't remember when they were reworking Conquer, they were like the first thing they almost got rid of was the infinite chain lights, and they saw a bunch of like low-level players and people complaining about that. So I'm very, very surprised they did not touch offensive lights if they didn't. That's like his biggest like thing. It's offensive lights. Even like better than the kick, I still say offensive lights are his biggest thing. I could be wrong. Like currently, they're obviously his biggest thing, and like if they kept the bugs in, I still think they would be his biggest thing. Let's go back over this. If it'll pop up. Sweet. Okay.
Through September
Okay,
11th, be the faction with the most matches.
Is this it?
No idea what else is gonna break.
That's 2 hours ago, so I'm assuming it's it. Shit loads so fucking slow, bro.
Yes, it's standard.
I don't really know the timestamps. These are the weapons and shit. Oh yeah, I didn't see all this, so let me I'm assuming most of it just doesn't matter.
Out and finally, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Parallel with like what's
You did when you
Twitch at its finest.
September 14th. It's gone.
About the TG, not sure. Bringing the Watch Dogs are doing right now.
completely false. I've
Reflex got changes.
it's
Try. I may just like lower my fucking. They may just do this so it'll load faster.
gonna make sure that same stance.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
yeah, they did touch
more
Lawbreaker. I was
potential,
wondering if they
like,
did the Lawbreaker. Okay.
Kills or whatever. Maybe you
Huh?
push somebody out.
Okay,
If
there
you
you go.
want.
Riposte, Gary light parries, heavy openers, chain to okay. So they basically gave him hyper armor. Oh, it's kind of gay. Soft things to guard break. Okay. We don't really care about any of that anyway. Lawbreaker.
Rolling, removing.
I think I saw everything else.
So first up,
Yeah, I saw everything else. Okay, so I'm pretty much sure they didn't miss anything. Where is he at? Where's big old big dingo at? Where's Highlander? There he is.
So what can players expect from the TG?
Okay,
Yeah,
let's get the cell on the road.
Mr. Thighs.
Yes.
Highlander, right?
Think about the highlight changes. I'm looking at them right now. I'm going back over them. I did just hop on. How's everybody doing? I'm re-going over the changes. Their stream was dying. Yeah, their stream was dying. Fucking. Even had this like 720p and it's still dying.
To play hero.
We just do that, I guess.
Like kind of
It's not
tricky.
full
There's a
screen
lot of
it.
like weird things that can happen. So we focused on not really remove too few.
Skipped it too far.
Nice.
That's what I like to see in
Yes,
a
you
rework
do.
as well.
Yeah, and I think that's what players said when
right.
discussing Highlander
Yeah.
as a potential. They're just like, I hope they don't change him too much.
Yeah, right. So it
Yeah.
hasn't changed too much. Actually, it changed for the better. So that's great.
Yeah, of course, Beam. I got
TLC.
you. You're always
Yeah, a
down to
lot
play.
of TLC. Yeah. All right, so let's get started.
What big tourney, North?
Okay, so first up, the very, very biggest change we've done, and I think people should be psyched about this, is that whenever you feint an attack now, every single time you feint an attack, if you hold the heavy button, you will fast flow into offensive stance, right? So how does this work? I throw a heavy, feint, hold heavy,
See,
straight into offensive.
that seems like really strong. And if I don't know if you remember, but I highly doubt this is the same case. When Highlander got first released, or a little bit after that, he had this really broken ass option select, and it was basically the best option select in the game. You couldn't punish it. There was no counter for it. At least I didn't know of at the time, or currently don't know of. And I wonder if you can kind of option select this with a parry. I highly doubt that you can, but if you don't know, Highlander's unblockable heavies and kicks have absolutely 0 GB vulnerability in startup. So like that's me taking. I wonder if I could go for a parry and like let's see, switch my guard or instantly refresh my recovery and just throw a heavy just like that. I wonder if that beats Feint to GB. I highly doubt it does, but I wonder if it does.
Offensive stance, right? So this is
But
great
this seems like
because
a good change.
normally
More
the
options to
only
get
way
into
you can
offensive stance is
survive
what he
an attack
clearly
going to
needs.
offensive stance, realistically, is either
Clearly.
you got lucky,
That's
they
pretty
dodged
common
back a little
sense.
bit or whatever, or you backstep light into.
And it's great they removed backstep light as well. Good for health choices, obviously. I still don't understand why they removed hyper armor light. It's whatever, I guess.
It makes it a lot easier to go into.
And that animation looks kind of fucked.
Really big change here. It works off of every single feint that you can perform with hyper.
Reddit changed literally the hyper armor light, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's whatever, I guess. It had like very specific uses.
There's more feints. The next thing I want to talk about quickly, which is a problem with the hero right now, is backstep lights. Right now,
like I said, this is fine.
You backstep quite a bit.
No, it looks like they made it to where like if you're like really close to him, like to a player, you backstep like less, like if you like that. See, but like if you're a certain distance, you can still kind of backstep light for the looks of it. And so, I don't know if it's the same case, but as Highlander currently full screen, I did do it full screen, but it was like lagging and shit. But we'll try it again. But like. Kurt, yeah, see, it was like freezes and shit. I don't know if that's like a Twitch issue or what, but like it just freezes. Let me try this. Try theater mode, I guess.
So if you want to throw me a top heavy, it now deals 18 damage instead of 20. So again, we've lowered the damage.
Ain't freezing now.
Here, because again, that was a bit too strong, so that kind of works there. The other thing we've done in defensive stance is defensive form rather is. The chain lights no longer have. I still don't get why they nerfed his chain light. I mean, I sound like a whiny little bitch when I say that, but like truly, like at even mid-level play, it really doesn't have a lot of uses, except if you're backstep lighting and trading or something, or you're switching like targets and lighting them with your chain light. It really doesn't have a lot of uses. I don't really get why they changed it. The other thing that we've done that's kind of cool.
But, I mean, I guess it is what it is. It's nothing like that was needed. Still weird change.
Handers heavy openers. So top heavy opener right now. See, so if you're on live right now and you land a guard break, realistically,
does this neutral heavy still have hyper armor? His zone has hyper armor. I'm not really sure why they gave his zone hyper armor. That was really weird. Wait, did they? Hold on. Let me like wind that back like 5 seconds. Watch this heavy. I don't think it has hyper armor.
You can do a top heavy.
wait, does it? I could have swore I've seen like a very small flash hyper armor. I'm just blind, I guess. Nothing like that though.
You can do a top heavy.
It looks like it. Like I see it. If you pay attention, it's like a very slight faint of flash, or like the hyper armor flicker. Yeah, they do have hyper armor. So the issue with Highlander's heavies currently, you can backstep heavy. While you're also negative frame advantage, so like normally if you were to do this as any other character, you would just beat it every single time. Now with this heavy sped up, I wonder if this makes it even better where you could backstep heavy into heavy and backstep heavy, and you literally can't push any button because you're constantly in heavy hits. Then if you push any button, you will get punished severely unless you're like a select few of characters. Like can like light him or something after his chain heavy hits you. But I wonder if this speeding up the heavy made that way better than what it already currently is. Because he could already disable like most mix-ups in the game just by pushing backstep heavy. While negative frame advantage, by the way. Certain ones he can't, but certain ones he can. Which is most characters he can.
You can still do it if you want. But we really wanted to give the hero like a much better way of getting into those parry punishes.
Roshi nerf, it pretty much just nerfs his gank, essentially. So unless you're playing with like people that know how to gank, it's not gonna make a difference for you. It really isn't. And they also buff the damage to Storm Rush. So you probably won't notice the difference at all, Beam. So I wouldn't worry about it unless you like specifically gank with him and you know the ganks.
You couldn't feint it before, now you can.
So with this zone being feintable, this normally, and you can go into offensive stance with it. The only real use I see this being for is one for externally in your dodge stack or externally your zone for clearing minions. And for unlock zoning, which is ridiculously strong if you know how to use it. So this gives him more variety unlocking, but also, as well, they nerfed the backstep light, so I don't know if unlock backstep light will still be a thing of the game. Because from the looks of it, when they were demonstrating backstep light, it looks like it's really, the distance is severely nerfed if you're really close to the opponent. But if you're like semi far away, it looked like it was like a longer backstep light. Like, it looks like it. I could be wrong, but it just looked like it. So I wonder, theoretically, because the way backstep light works, unlock backstep light works, I wonder if you can lock back on, because when you unlock, you have to like kind of run away, but it's very faint when you run away, and then you lock back on, and then you backs up light. So I wonder if that's the case with how the backs up lighting will work with Highlander. I wonder if you'll get more distance the further they are away. That it looks like it again. It looks like that was the case, but it probably isn't the case. But we'll see. 'Cause this is
That's huge.
Ubisoft,
'Cause,
so
now you can also,
we'll see.
You know what I was talking about? Fainting, faint into. Offensive.
But
Into
my main concern
I see what
is, did they touch the bugs? That is my main concern. Because if they didn't, you have a top character instantly if they're actually releasing live in game like this. Like, I'm not even like debating it. It's instantly a top character.
Armor here.
Because
armor here.
he can already be semi-played at high level by like 3 people because they know how to play him correctly with decent reactions. But think about it. Just think about it. If they did not remove offensive light bugs, mix in with a feintable kick, a roll catch, the ability to feint into offensive stance instantly with like anything, dude, you have literally a top 5 duelist character in the game, possibly even like a top 4s and 2s character. Like, and the thing is, they didn't show any of this. They didn't show if they fixed wave dashing. They didn't show if they fixed offensive guard switch bug. They didn't show any of this. They just touched his main issues. But like, in my opinion, the biggest issues with this character is offensive lights and the bugs that are behind offensive lights that make him so good. It's the reason he is played at higher level by like 4 or 5 people is because of one bug, and it's the offensive light guard switch bugs that theoretically makes his lights nearly unreactable and completely impossible to differentiate offensive lights from offensive heavies. And they didn't show this at all. They didn't show if they fixed this. So that's what I'm saying. If they did not touch these bugs, this character is going to be so broken. He's already mechanically broken. But like, dude, like, he has so much potential. It's not even funny. Thank you for the raid, Bia. I always struggle saying your name. I'm just going to be Beaver. Thank you for the raid of 25. Appreciate it, gamer. Thank you. Like, dude. Hey, dude, it's going to be so strong. I highly doubt they're releasing this character and they don't touch the bugs. But it is a very strong possibility because they don't know how to fix it. And this right here, the heavy into zone, I can see that only being useful for one use only. Externally, that's really it. And because, like, again, going back to the heavy, because you have like insane frame advantage if they just block your heavies or don't do anything else. Like going into zone and the ability to soft feint zone, and I wonder how fast you can go into offensive stance to throw that offensive light. That's what I really wonder. If you could throw that offensive light simultaneously, instantly, or cancel, or like switch your guard after a feint to instantly cancel that recovery to bait anything, it's going to be super strong. Super strong.
Right, but part of this is we really want to have Highlander in this form to be really defensive.
And it looks like they kept the 600 MS heavy chains too, which is really strong.
Amazing in the minion lane because you can just
Really strong.
Yeah. No, Scotsman goes.
exactly. So that's really good there. And the last change that we're adding is the.
I cannot wait to get my grimy, greasy, oily lander hands on this TG.
So now you can probably feint, hold heavy, straight into offensive feint as well, which is really good there. Again, a lot of those little changes, a lot of it kind of feels almost like quality of life.
A fadeable kick, dude, and a roll catch. That's so huge. I don't think it's a lot. That's so fat. That's so fat. I'm going to be so fat.
Not necessarily like it's
Gonna be so fat.
fast, it's not super
Highlander mirrors are in TG. I'm not even concerned about it. I would have tried so much with Highlander. I want to first instantly test the bugs. I want to do every bug. I want to do every single bug test, every recovery bug test, everything. I want to see if all of that is gone, and I highly doubt it is.
dodging actually. But because everybody has dodge attacks right now, like if you can try to dodge attack it when I do it,
It looks like there's still no use. Like, and they still look. I like that they kept kick to grab, but it looks like there is still absolutely like no reason to do kick to grab. There's just none. Like, even with the feintable kick, like, there's no reason. It's just more of a stam waster. Because why would you want to go for kick grab when they can obviously dodge attack it, but you can just feint kick every single time into, like, a guard break, back into defensive stance. You know, there's just way more options just feinting kick instead of going to kick to grab. Like, there's just physically no use for it. There's just none. I mean, I guess if someone's out of stamina for, like, ganking them, like, even then, it's like, I don't really see, like, the big use to keep kick grab. I would just say get rid of grab, scrap it, and just keep kick feintable. Like, the only reason I see it being useful is for ganking. Because you can still just dodge attack it. That animation is so fucked, too. I also want to take into mind, I wonder how many more bugs this would create. Because if they didn't get rid of his bugs currently, his current bugs, and they're in the TG, I wonder how many more possible bugs this shit will create. The feintable kick, well, I guarantee he's going to create some cracked bug. For a different mix-up? No, I mean, not really. I mean, there's just no kind of real reason to eat this. Feint kick into neutral? Yeah, I think you can. You can just simply feint. What he's doing, I believe, if I was paying attention, when you feint something, you have to, like, hold heavy. I think you just hold heavy after you push heavy and then you hold heavy. I think it feints it, or you have to push heavy, then feint, and then hold heavy, and then it'll go into defensive stance. The input sounds like really, really strange. If it's like a normal feint and it looks like a normal feint because you got the kind of miss shit from kick, you know, like normal feints, hard feints. It looks like you can feint kick and go into neutral. So you could like feint kick into guard break, into light, heavy, into dodge attack, etc. Whatever you want, whatever the scenario, stuff like that. You can also go in defensive form with it. See, I want to know if you could feint heavy, like if you go for like a parry, etc. Let's say you go for like a heavy parry or something. You can go into defensive stance, right? And I wonder if you can throw the heavy immediately after that, like if you switch your guard or something, because Highlander's heavies and kicks don't have any GB vulnerability. Like on startup, you can't guard break their kick at heavy at all. So I wonder if you can just completely beat heavy feint GB by going for the parry and throwing a heavy or a kick afterwards to beat the guard break. Because that would be like so strong. His neutral game would be so broken. Like, even with backstep light gone, like, it looks like they kind of just made it better. There's so many questions, but we'll see. Not really. It's just because, like, if they didn't remove, you got to think about it. Because if they didn't remove any of the bugs and they're just giving him new stuff in his kit, with this kit already being buggy as fuck, you know, they could give him like even more bugs to like rely on as well to make it even better. Like, that's just Highlander, dude. Now this shit right here, I found very interesting. That's so cracked. That's so cracked, dude. You have no idea. And like, it looks like you have to kind of do it off of a read though as well. Like you can't. I mean, I guess you can like see them rolling away after you feint it, but like, I wonder if you could roll forward fast enough on reaction to them rolling away just to grab them instead of making a fat read. You know. I mean, wouldn't feint GB just catch that anyway? So like, there's like no real reason to roll. Like, that's how that should work, right? Unless like you can't go into neutral, which they might have done, which is strange.
You know, get the 500-pound brain and relearn the character.
Exactly. Also, like for the heavies in offensive stance, we've lowered their damage and their stamina cost. So now they deal 26.
Oh, it's stamina too. Shit. How much stamina does that take?
Was always a bit crazy, but yeah, 12 stamina instead of
that's
24.
Whoa, that's stamina cost, dude. Holy shit! I didn't see that before. Bro, dude takes like no stamina to throw it a heavy. That's so good. Holy shit.
Like dodges. I'm not gonna go too much into it. We're gonna have a
very nice
post that kind of details all of those things. Essentially, like you can flow back into the offensive stance a little bit quicker from when you're doing, and you also move a little bit further out when you're dodging from when you're on live. So that's good.
He overall just looks a lot more fluid.
Yeah,
with these little tweaks.
Yeah, it feels really, really good. And then
yeah, that's what I was thinking, bro. Like if you're making the read, you can just feint and take up the curse, and they'll just eat 2 heavies like for free, unless they changed it, of course, which I doubt they would.
Anything here, like I said before, when we have Lobbringer, it's the same kind of logic there. You can also no longer. So right now, if you're on live, right, if you're in offensive form and you hold guard break, you can just do kick, kick, kick.
Oh, right.
kick,
It'll
kick
just
infinitely,
chain,
right?
chain.
So now we've kind of fixed this, so you have to tap it, and then if you're just holding it, it's not just gonna happen infinitely, right?
Nice. So you're not gonna
Is
get
that yeah? and
caught on the startup of the next one.
exactly.
I never
and
had
so
any issues with that.
This might look a bit weird, like why did we remove this? It's just because this it can create like bad inputs.
Mhm.
So there's no point in having those bad inputs. So if we can clean them up, that's great. It works really well there. Also, the other thing is that like exiting offensive stance used the cost of stamina. Now it costs 6. So again, better stamina management for Highlander. Great overall. And then the final piece of this cute little puzzle is
We're
Highlander
touching on
had
infinite wall
the
kick, I believe.
worst
That's good.
walking and
I can see
running
this.
speed
Yeah.
This is
in the game,
good,
even though you know
for,
it's like a
you know, just
beefy guy with
general.
big thighs.
but
So right now we've actually sped it up.
It was not great.
That, like I said, if you've played him before, you can still play Highlander. You're just buffed up now. You can do a lot more.
So,
and you have easier
the
access.
changes look great.
You can weave
like I said, my biggest concern is if they got rid of the offensive stance light bugs. That's my biggest concern, because that was like his biggest crutch currently is the offensive light bugs, and if they didn't get rid of that shit, that's gonna be so fucking broken. It's gonna be so good. It's fucking ridiculous. So there's like a plenty of bugs here. There's a lot of bugs that could refresh his recovery to make it where he can't be punished in certain things, offensive lights, etc., etc., etc. But it looks like I was very, very surprised they did not touch offensive lights like genuinely at all. But it's just very surprising. Because when he said like we're touching his main issue, I instantly thought offensive lights, you know, because it's obviously offensive lights. But like he instantly went to kick, and I was like, they do not touch offensive lights in this at all. So we'll see. We'll see. In order to like honestly get rid of like 90% of the bugs, genuinely just get rid of emote. If they get rid of emote in offensive stance, you can't really. How fast is kick current? I think it's like 700 ms, 600 ms, one of the two. I don't know. They didn't say in the video. It doesn't look like they changed the speed of it or something like that up. They just made it feintable, which isn't gonna matter. I mean, it does matter, but like changing the speed of it wouldn't matter. Yeah, 700 ms. Yeah, one of the two. Figured it was 700. I just didn't know. But yeah. Because if you like change this, like, you're gonna make a bash feintable. There's no reason to change the speed of the bash unless it was like a really fucking like, you know. They removed that. Yeah, they did. They completely got rid of the charge up delay, and they got rid of the whole cutscene where he's looking at you. They just throw your fat ass to the ground instantly. And I'm assuming they did that for like ganking purposes and stuff, because like there's like no reason to use grab like in a team fight at all, because like at how long it takes to start up and prep up and throw them to the ground. So like I'm guessing they're giving grab like more variety of uses. Like literally, yeah. But the kick's feintable, so like, you know, genuinely like the kick would still have more uses than the grab, assuming from the looks of this. In a duel's perspective, I could see it being more useful, definitely. So backstep light is gone. So they still kind of didn't really like give him an insane cracked goober ass way to get into offensive stance. I mean, now like feint into offensive stance is really strong and like it's crazy good, but like you have to think at high level he still doesn't have an opener. That's still a fat ass issue. So you can still stare at this character and still beat him from the looks of it. Like it's just we'll have to test it, but like I still figure he's gonna have a lot of issues. It's currently unlock, yeah, the unlock zone, dude, from like unlock, I could see that being cracked as fuck. Like still, like his main issue is characters like Warlord of Fear just staring at him and you can't do anything. You know, but like once he gets an offensive sense, he still kind of really just can't do anything besides spam offensive lights. And like I'm afraid it's gonna kind of be the same case here, because you're staring at you, like, what are you going to do? You can't backstep light anymore. So that's, like, a completely gone. Like, backstep light is completely gone from the looks of this. So that's one opener gone. So your only true opener still is either holding heavy, going for a parry and doing a light into offensive stance, right? Or going for a parry and, like, I don't know, feinting something you have into offensive stance. And I wonder, because since, you know, feinting or guard breaking a feint is kind of like, let's say like kind of like Valkyrie, let's use Valkyrie example. You can like guard break her during heavy chains or something to get like a guard break, right? So like, wouldn't it kind of be the same scenario here? You can just guard break and make a read when I'm throwing a heavy or something like that. If I'm going in an offensive stance and you get the right read, you get a GB. That's how it should work, right? But what if you can like just throw a heavy from a offensive stance, and just like completely counteract that? You know, there's just it kind of seems he's got like the issue of still having no opener. Genuinely, there's no opener. That's like my biggest concern. Unblockable into kick. You can fake. You probably can, to be honest with you, unless they completely removed it and just didn't say anything about it. But he still's got issues. No opener. No real weighty in defensive sense. So even with the feint offensive sense, it is a kind of a cracked way. But like you have to think against like a high level players, they're not just gonna let you walk all over them and get into offensive sets. Maybe for like the first like week or so, when Highlander gets released like this, because it's brand new and you're kind of having to adjust right now. That's what every new character that gets reworked or new-ish character that comes out. It takes time. But rank, if I'm not sure, but like let's say theoretically, like, and this is my perfect insomnia or insomnia way of this character. If they release Highlander perfectly like this and remove or keep every bug in this character and do not touch him at all anyways after that, meaning kick infinite wall splat is back and still in the game. Infinite not infinite, but guard switch bug is still in. Guard switch cancel offensive bug is still in the game. I could see him being S tier if played properly still. If played properly. Because the reason I say if is one, backstep light is gone. You still have no openers. So I could still see in this character being heavily relied on reactions at high level of play. Because you still don't have an opener. You still don't have a really reliable way to get into offensive stance. Like, at all. That's his main issue still. And I wonder if you can just backstep light as kick. You probably still can certain characters, but like it looks like they didn't give him any forward momentum. But I'm assuming you can just feint your kick and parry the light attack. So like, like a dickhead, the Highlander's probably gonna be shit for you. I wouldn't say that. Like playing him optimal is kind of always been a little strong, but like again, like he doesn't have any openers. That's my main concern. No openers. Is the offensive light bug still in the game? Does he get shit on by dodge forward bash characters still? Does he have a solid way of dealing with insane dodge recovery? But we'll see. That's pretty much everything, I think. There's a lot of questions, not really answers.
A lot more effectively. That works super well. We're really excited. We hope like players are gonna like it. We're super happy about it. That should be good.
Yeah.
And
No, I mean, all the tentative changes seem like they're kind of in line with what players were asking, which was like we want some tweaks.
Not
We
top
don't
heavy though.
wanna-
It's so
we
weird
don't
to
want
look
to change
at.
the identity of the hero
Exactly.
or like the feel of playing him. So I'm excited to get hands on Highlander because like he always felt like chunky.
yeah,
Like swapping out cardboard cutouts.
constantly.
You know.
So with this, it's a lot more fluid.
Yeah, now it's just, and those are kind of more the heroes that I like to play. It's just like let me get in there and flow.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Transition.
So, Fevi on GB is obviously great. 26 damage, just no one's complaining about. That's amazing. 26 damage. Woo-ha. Right? 26 damage is okay. Feintable kick is nice. Grab, I'm still questioning the grab. I can only see it being really useful in 4s and 2s. Because that's where, like, most of the, ganking stuff is. But other than that, I really don't see it being used anywhere. How do I fucking put this shit up here? The stupid ass web browser, bro. What is it like that? But it's really strange. We're going to load the game back up. We'll see though. We'll see how it turns out and pans out.